from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is all set to inaugurate multiple projects in New Delhi, to Kuki Zoo Council giving an ultimatum. We'll tell you about that and more from the realms of business, sports and entertainment in quick morning. Stay tuned for our jam-packed line-up. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is all set to inaugurate several major development projects in Delhi today. Firstly, he will inaugurate a 1,675 newly constructed flats for the economically weaker sections at Swabhiman Apartments in Ashok Vihar. Now, these houses aim to provide better living conditions in the line with the Housing for All mission. He will inaugurate two urban development projects, the World Trade Center at Nauroji Nagar and GPRA Type 2 quarters at Sarojini Nagar. Additionally, he will lay the foundation for the Veer Savarkar College at Roshanpura. As per the official statement, the college named after Sarvarkar will have state-of-the-art facilities for education. Other than that, the Prime Minister will also lay foundations for three new projects worth over rupees 600 crore at Delhi University. And Indian batting sensation Shubman Gill has made it to the headlines, but this time for a different reason. Gill is among four Gujarat Titan players who are expected to be summoned by Gujarat CID crime branch. Now, as per reports, this is in connection with a rupees 450 crore Ponzi scheme. Three other cricketers, Rahul Tewatia, Sai Sudarshan and Mohit Sharma, will also be summoned by the CID team. The whole issue comes after the alleged mastermind behind Ponzi scheme, Bhupendra Singh Zala, was interrogated by the CID officials, and during investigation, Zala reportedly admitted that he failed to return investments made by cricketers involved in the scam. Now, reports suggest that Shubman Gill, who led Gujarat Titans in 2024, invested over rupees 1.95 crore, while three other smaller contributions were also made. And while speaking at an event, Union Home Minister Amit Shah suggested that Kashmir might be named after the name of sage Kashyap. He emphasized that Kashmir's historical and cultural ties to India, and even cited references to Shankaracharya, Silk Route and Sanskrit language in the region. He also criticized the special provisions of Article 370 and Article 35A, saying that they fueled separatism and hindered national unity.
हम सब जानते हैं कश्मीर को कश्यप की भूमि का भी नाम से जाना जाता है। शायद हो सकता है कि इनके नाम से ही कश्मीर का नाम पड़ा होगा, परंतु जैसे मैंने आगे उल्लेख किया, बौद्ध धर्म की चतुर्थ काउंसिल सम्राट कनिष्क के समय में कश्मीर में ही संपन्न की गई।
And Karnataka leader of opposition R. Ashoka slammed Congress government over maternal deaths in the state. He even demanded a judicial probe into the matter and called for resignation of Health Minister Dinesh Gundu Rao. He also expressed concerns over the state of government hospitals and accused the administration of succumbing to the drug mafia. He even said that maternal deaths are government-sponsored murder. In a remark, his remarks come as the state BJP's Mahila Morcha launched protests in 5 districts demanding resignation of Gundu Rao and Minister for Women and Child Development Lakshmi Hebalkar, alleging they failed to prevent deaths of new mothers in the state.
Type of maternal deaths happening in Karnataka. More than 600 maternal deaths happening in Karnataka. In the assembly also we discussed about we asked the resignation of Mr. Dinesh Gundu Rao also. But because of the medicine, all the deaths happen. That's why we demand the resignation.
And up next, Supreme Court criticized the Punjab government for misleading the public about its stance on medical aid for farmer leader Jagjit Singh Daliwal. Now, Daliwal has been on a hunger strike since November 26. The court clarified that it was concerned about Dalewal and wanted to ensure his health doesn't deteriorate in his protest. Now, a bench of Justices Suryakant and Ujjal Bhuyan made it clear that efforts to hospitalize farmers' leader Jagjit Singh Dalewal is not to derail his hunger strike. He lashed out at a Punjab government and other farmers for deliberately creating such an impression in the media. The Kuki-Zo Council has given a deadline for the reinstatement of buffer zones in Manipur's border areas. They have said that if this is unmet, the council will start an economic blockade in the valley. This follows concerns over the safety of Kuki community, which has faced violence and persecution. The council accused Manipur government of failing to protect the community's rights. In support, the Coordinating Committee on Tribal Unity has called for a 12-hour shutdown, demanding justice for the Kuki-Zo people. And moving on, the district administration issued a notice to Jan Suraj founder Prashant Kishore and his nearly 150 supporters for staging a dharna at Gandhi Maidan, which has been deemed illegal. Now, the administration says that protest violates Patna High Court order designating Gardani Bagh as the sole permissible site for demonstration in the city. No FIR is being filed against Kishore and his supporters as of now. Only a notice warning was issued to them to relocate or face legal actions. Now, Prashant Kishore is supporting BPSC aspirants who are demanding the cancellation of the Bihar Public Service Commission examinations that were held on December 13 because of alleged paper leak.
जैसा बताया मैंने कि पटना हाई कोर्ट ऑनरेबल पटना हाई कोर्ट का है जजमेंट है, उसमें रिस्ट्रिक्टेड एरिया दिया गया और जिलाधिकारी महोदय का भी आदेश रहता है। ये इसमें परमिशन आदेश रहता है, इसमें ये रिस्ट्रिक्टेड एरिया है तो अनलॉफुल एक तरह से है। अकॉर्डिंगली हम लोग देखेंगे विधि सम्मत कार्रवाई। नोटिस सर्व कर दिया गया है।
And West Bengal leader of opposition Suvendu Adhikari has blamed Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee over the murder of TMC leader Dulal Sarkar. He accused her of breakdown in law and order situation in the state. The murder has sparked tensions between the ruling TMC and opposition. Adhikari has demanded swift justice and an independent inquiry into the matter. He also condemned the police's handling of the investigation. Sarkar was shot dead on January 1 in Malda by the assailants who came in motorbike and then fled the scene. The investigation is underway with CCTV footage from crime scene being reviewed. And in a shocking turn of events, a 65-year-old Pandurang Ulpe, a resident of Kasba Bavra area in Kolhapur, was brought back to life after being declared dead. Now, the miraculous incident occurred when the ambulance carrying Ulpe's body crossed a speed breaker and the sudden jolt caused his fingers to start shaking. His grandson noticed the movement and alerted nurse in the ambulance. Now, Ulpe was immediately rushed back to the hospital where he received treatment for 15 days. And the Mumbai narcotics cell seized drugs worth over rupees 1.62 crore in two separate operations. In Ghatkopar, the ANC officers arrested Sanjeev Sarkar with 396 grams of cocaine worth rupees 4.5 lakh. A second arrest was made involving Naeem Sheikh, who had 900 bottles of codeine syrup valued at rupees 42.5 lakh. Meanwhile, the Worli unit detained two Nigerian nationals and recovered 170 grams of MD drug worth rupees 42.5 lakh.
और वर्ली यूनिट और सभी यूनिट हमारे एएनसी के 1 तारीख के जश्न के चलते हुए पेट्रोलिंग पे थे और पेट्रोलिंग दरमियान उन्हें कुछ संशयित आदमी मिले। 396 ग्राम कोकेन बरामद हुआ। उसकी प्राइस 1 करोड़ 18 लाख होती है और उसको गिरफ्तार करके आगे की तजवीज चल रही है।
Viewers, tracking the top business stories for the day, we bring you the latest from our Indian economic landscape, from Air India becoming India's first airlines to provide Wi-Fi on domestic flights, to Apple agreeing to pay $95 million on Siri privacy lawsuits. Stay tuned as we bring you key highlights shaping the business world today. And Air India has introduced a game-changing feature for its passengers. The airlines has introduced the services of Wi-Fi internet connectivity, and this service will be available on domestic and international flights. This makes Air India the first airline in India to provide in-flight Wi-Fi on domestic routes. The service caters to both leisure and business travelers, enabling them to browse the internet and access social media. The service is compatible with Wi-Fi enabled devices including laptops, tablets and smartphones running iOS or Android. Now, these services will, however, be available only on select flights. And up next, Anil Ambani-led Reliance Power is in the spotlight after its subsidiary made a debt payment to IFFICI. Now, the company shared this update during market hours, and following their announcement, the stock surged over 4% yesterday. Now, Sarojini Power, another subsidiary of Reliance Power, made a $150 million bullet repayment to IFFICL, fulfilling its debt obligations. Now, this move fortifies its financial position, improving debt coverage metrics, liquidity and credit ratings. The loan repayment reinforces Reliance Power's balance sheet as the company shifts its focus towards the renewable energy sector, which is a key driver of future growth. And following a number of delays, Bengaluru's much-awaited Yellow Line is about to make its debut journey. The metro will link Electronic City, which is a hotspot for big businesses like Infosys and Biocon. Now, BJP MP Tejasvi Surya took to social media to announce the update. He further disclosed that in order to launch the trains to Bengaluru on January 6, he has asked Union Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs to visit the manufacturing facility in Kolkata. He also informed that the lack of trains has been the main cause of Yellow Line project's considerable delays. As per Bengaluru Metro Rail Corporation Limited, authorities 3 trains per 30 minutes will be used for Yellow Line's first operations. The frequency of the trains will increase as more trains will be supplied. Moving on, Indian stock markets kicked off 2025 on a strong note, with both Sensex and Nifty closing higher, driven by gains in auto and financial stocks. Now, although stocks of Maruti, M&M, L&T, Bajaj Finance, Tata Motors and Asian Paints, while SBI, HUL, Tech Mahindra, Zomato and Tata Steel dragged the index down. Meanwhile, global markets offered mixed signals as US indices ended 2024 in the red and Asian markets opened mixed. The Securities and Exchange Board of India denied the settlement applications by Zee Entertainment Enterprises Limited CEO Puneet Goenka. In a detailed order issued on its website, the market regulator said that it will look into the matter in more detail. Goenka and Zee Limited had submitted proposals for a settlement under SEBI's settlement regulations, but SEBI's whole-time members panel rejected the same. With the current outcome, the agency plans to release a fresh SCN that incorporates new information from the current investigation along with previous conclusions. And Apple has agreed to pay $95 million in cash to settle a proposed class action lawsuit claiming that its voice-activated Siri assistant violated users' privacy. A preliminary settlement was filed and requires approval by U.S. District Judge Jeffrey White. This would resolve a 5-year-old lawsuit revolving around allegations that Apple activated Siri to record conversations through iPhones and other devices equipped with virtual assistant for more than a decade. The alleged recordings occurred even when people didn't seek to activate the virtual assistant with the trigger words, "Hey Siri." Now, as per the lawsuit, some of the recorded conversations were then shared with advertisers in an attempt to sell their products to consumers more likely to be interested in the goods and services. And moving on to our international international segment where we are tracking the ground pulse of some of the biggest global headlines. Today we delve into significant developments from around the world, from latest updates from New Orleans attack to Switzerland banning burqa and child marriages. Stay tuned as we unravel the latest updates shaping the global landscape. At least 10 people were wounded in a shooting outside a New York City club on January 1. Excuse me. New York police shared the horrifying details of the shooting, where 4 men allegedly attacked a group of 16 to 20-year-olds who were waiting to get inside a private event. 30 shots were fired before the gunmen fled on foot. While the motive remains unknown, a probe has been launched by the police to investigate the case. The victims have been admitted to the hospital and are out of danger. Moving on, hundreds of people were forced to leave their homes after heavy rains and floods battered parts of northwest England on January 1. Following mandated evacuations, mountain rescue teams were called in to assist firefighters help those left behind. Reports indicate that more flooding is expected across the United Kingdom, and warnings have been issued by the government to prevent further loss of properties and reduce damage to the citizens' lives and belongings. And news from Syria, car bomb attack in Tel Rifah town sent shockwaves across the nation as the country finds it difficult to return to normal following the fall of President Assad's regime. According to reports, 5 people, including a child, were wounded. Immediate relief was provided to the victims by the paramedics of the civil defense who happened to be near the explosion. An investigation has been launched by the local government to find the cause behind the explosion. No arrests have been made so far. And New Year began in Switzerland with the implementation of few controversial amendments. Switzerland has banned facial coverings in public, and violations could invite fines of thousands of dollars. Now, this comes after 4 other countries in Europe, including France and Austria, imposed a ban on facial coverings. The country is also looking at combating child marriages, as marriages will no longer be recognized in Switzerland unless both the spouses have attained the age of 16. Along with these controversial bans, Switzerland also introduced newer banking laws and aims at promoting renewable energy this year. Moving on, President Joe Biden of the United States has bestowed the second highest civilian award to Liz Cheney and Benny Thompson, the investigators of the Capitol riot incident. Now, the award ceremony took place at the White House on December 2. Biden awarded 20 people in the ceremony for their services to the society. Following a deadly shooting in Podgorica, capital of Montenegro, on January 2, a candlelight vigil was held to remember the victims. 12 people were killed in a shooting spree as the gunman opened fire in a bar brawl. 2 children were also killed in the attack. The shooter, was identified as 45-year-old Ako Martinovic, killed the owner of the bar owner's children, and his own family members before turning the gun to himself. And following the deadly attack on American soil on New Year's Day by a 42-year-old driver identified as Shamsuddin Bahar Jabbar, a probe was launched by the FBI to look into possible terrorist connections. 14 people died after a pickup truck rammed into New York celebratory crowd. President Joe Biden shared that the truck driver posted videos on social media just hours before the carnage. The accused was seen stating that he was inspired by the Islamic State group and had a desire to kill. In another news, a Tesla Cybertruck burst into flames outside President-elect Donald Trump's Las Vegas hotel, raising concerns over repetitive attacks in the country. The explosion killed one as FBI began investigating a possible link between the 2 attacks. However, Biden stressed that there was no indication of a connection between the New Orleans attack and the explosion of the Tesla Cybertruck filled with explosives at Las Vegas.
People in New Orleans are sending an unmistakable message They will not let this attack or the attackers' deluded ideology overcome us. None of us should fear that he'll overcome us. We're going to continue to relentlessly pursue ISIS and other terrorist organizations where they are, and they'll find no safe harbor here. I'll continue to provide updates in New Orleans and Las Vegas as the facts develop.
Israeli airstrikes killed at least 40 people in another attack by the country on Gaza. Several children were reported dead following the airstrike that hit the humanitarian zone on January 2. The deceased were taken to a local hospital as the death toll continues rising in Gaza. The war was sparked by Hamas-led militants' October 7, 2023 attack into the Israel. The militants killed some 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and abducted around 250. Around 100 hostages are still inside Gaza, at least a third to be believed dead. Israel's offensive in retaliation has killed over 45,500 Palestinians in Gaza, according to the territory's health ministry, which says women and children make up more than half the dead. The ministry does not distinguish between civilians and combatants in their tally. However, Israel's military says it only targets militants and blames Hamas for civilian deaths because its fighters operate in dense residential areas. The war has caused widespread destruction and displaced some 90% of Gaza's population of 2.3 million as talks for a ceasefire halt once again. It's time now to delve into the world of sports with our segment dedicated to all the action-packed highlights and exciting matchups. Olympic medal winner Vidya Singh's father, Mahipal Singh, passed away. He was not keeping well for the past few weeks. The 39-year-old who won a bronze medal at 2008 Beijing Games also informed in his social media post that his father's last rites will be performed at his parental village in Bhavani in Haryana. And chess world champion D. Gukesh on Thursday promised his best moves on 64 square and outside in future as well after being chosen for the prestigious Khel Ratna award by the government. Gukesh recently became the youngest ever world champion when he defeated China's Ding Liren. He is only the second Indian after Vishwanath Anand to claim the title. And former India head coach Ravi Shastri will not be surprised if under fire captain Rohit Sharma announces his test retirement in the near future, saying talented and informed youngsters like Shubman Gill are knocking hard on the doors of the side. Rohit has managed the highest score of 10 in the 5 innings he has played in the Border Gavaskar Trophy after missing the series opener due to the birth of his second child. And moving on, it's time now to look at some of the top entertainment stories that we are tracking for you in this segment. British rapper Stormzy was banned from driving for 9 months following his arrest for using phone behind the wheels of his Rolls-Royce. According to the court ruling, the rapper put vulnerable road users at risk and pleaded guilty for the crime. The rapper, whose real name is Michael Ebenezer, was not in court for the ruling and has a history of speeding. Stormzy has apologized for the offense and was fined £2,000. The Varun Dhawan starrer Baby John has seen a surprisingly low turnout at the box office as the movie raked in a mere 28.65 crore in its first week despite the New Year holiday time. The movie opened to a decent start but failed to keep up the pace at the ticketing counter. After nearly 10 days of theatric run, the movie is shaping up to become Varun Dhawan's career lowest grosser. As of now, Dhawan's October remains the actor's worst performing film. And former actress and the Duchess of Sussex announced a new lifestyle show on social media platform Instagram. Set to premiere on January 15, the Netflix series marks a fresh and personal endeavor for Meghan as both host and executive producer. The 8-episode series, with each installment running 33 minutes, brings together a lineup of Meghan's closest friends since stepping back from their royal roles in 2020 and settling in California. Meghan and Harry have carved out a space in media production through their multi-year Netflix deal, reported to be worth $100 million. And that's all that we could pack for you in this segment of Quick Morning. But stay tuned to Republic as we continue to bring you news from across the country and around the world through the day.